be myself, Councillor Henwood, Councillor Farham, and Councillor Berggren. I start the meeting by receiving any apologies for absence. Second, do I have any declarations of interest? Okay. The procedure the licensing panel will follow in considering the application is set out in the Licensing Act 2003, its attendant regulations, and was agreed by the Licensing Committee on 2nd February 2005. The licensing panel, in accordance with Rule 14 of the Licensing Act 2003, bracket hearings, Regulations 2005, decide to exclude the public from all or part of the hearing where the licensing panel considers that it is in the public interest to do so. Item number 3, to agree the minutes of the previous meeting held on 3rd of February 2026. I was on that committee, so I have agreed to those minutes. Thank you. So we go on to an application to vary a premises license, Licensing Act of 2003. Please may we start with an introduction by Mr. Bryan. Thank you.
Chair, thank you. Councillors, the matter before yourselves this afternoon is an application which has been made pursuant to Section 34 of the Licensing Act by Mr. Ball to vary the premises licence at the Pink Flamingo, which is at 65 the Broadway, Haywards Heath. Representations have been made in respect to this application by a responsible authority, the Environmental Protection Team, and by 2 members of the public referred to as interested parties within the legislation on the grounds of the prevention of a public nuisance. Now, the substance of the variation is to vary and extend the hours for licensable activities currently authorised by the premises licence. I would note to the panel that the original application is attached to the report Appendix 1. But during the consultation process, the applicant has proposed amendments to the application, and the proposed amendments are at application 2. It's the proposed amendments which you'll be considering during this meeting. Now, the panel is asked to determine the application in accordance with the Licensing Act 2003, the Mid-Sussex District Council Statement of Licensing Policy, and the guidance issued by the Home Office under Section 182 of the Licensing Act, while having due regard to the applicant's submissions and relevant representations which are made by the parties concerned. Background to the application and to the premises is Mr. Ball trades at 65 the Broadway. It's a premises which is known as the Pink Flamingo, and the licence is held by Delhi and Daly Limited. They've been the premises licence holder since August 2025. And there was, this licence was first issued on the 1st of November 2020, when the premises was owned and operated by a different business. Prior to this date, there was a previous premises licence in effect, which dated back some years, but that lapsed in July 2020 when that licence holder was surrendered the licence. The current premises licence is attached to Appendix 3, and I've prepared a site plan and photos of the location at Appendix 4. Now, the report details the current hours for licensable activities, for the performance of live music, late night refreshment, recorded music, and the sale by retail of alcohol, and gives you the timings there, and the current opening hours of the premises are detailed within the report. Now, the panel will note there's a number of additional conditions which are attached to the licence, which relate to environmental protection and are in addition to the mandatory conditions. These relate to signage being placed at the premises asking customers to leave quietly, no live music to be played in the outside areas at any time. There is a level for recorded music outside. Doors and windows to be kept closed whenever regulated activity takes place. Restrictions on the movement of waste and or bottles to external areas, and restrictions on the times that the garden area can be used. As I stated, during the consultation period, the applicant amended the original application to take account of the representations which were received. He now asks for the hours for licensable activities to be recorded music, live and recorded music, to end at 02:30 hours. Premises closing time to be 0300 hours, and the sale of alcohol to cease at 0200 hours, with the 30 minutes between the cessation of licensable activities and closure, given an opportunity for obviously people to leave quietly and over a period of time. The applicant has also submitted a written statement to the panel outlining the application and the steps he intends to introduce to uphold the licensing objective of the prevention of public nuisance, and that is attached at Appendix 5. The police have agreed conditions with the applicant, and if the application is granted, it's requested that in addition to any conditions considered as necessary and proportionate by the panel, that these conditions are also added to the licence. These are attached to Appendix 6. As I stated, representations were received, one from a responsible authority, the Environmental Protection Team, and two from members of the public, known as interested parties. All three representations are under the licensing objective of the prevention of a public nuisance. The representations have not been resolved. Now, the Environmental Protection Team, obviously they're present and they will detail their representation for the panel when they're able to make their submission to yourselves and are available to answer any questions that you may have. But they make their representations in respect of the licensing objective of the prevention of a public nuisance. They outline that given the location of premises in a mixed commercial and residential area, they have concerns from recording live music coming and from customers, particularly when using any of the outside areas, will cause disturbance to people living in the vicinity. They do point out that no other licensed premises in the immediate area operate at such late hours, i.e. till 3 o'clock in the morning. And therefore the background sound level in the Broadway at that time is low. It's also well established, they state that when people consume alcohol, they tend to talk and laugh more loudly, therefore thereby increasing noise levels. And unlike amplified music, noise from people is not easily controllable by the management. Noise from customers using external areas in the early hours, as well as noise from customers leaving the premises, is therefore likely to cause disturbance to nearby residents. And they also add that the proposed provision of regulated entertainment inside is also likely to cause public nuisance if it takes place late at night and into the early hours of the morning. They do detail that they place noise monitoring equipment in a nearby residence during a event which was covered by a temporary event notice on the 30th and 31st of January, and they detail the result of the monitoring in their submission. They state that on Friday the 30th of January, the event was permitted until 03:30 AM, and the noise from the recorded music was clearly audible and intrusive inside living rooms and bedrooms of the adjoining premises, disturbing sleep. On the Saturday, the event was permitted until the same time, and noise from a live singer accompanied by a recorded backing track was clearly audible inside the bedroom. They also note there was repetitive tapping sounds which were also recorded. They do outline that there have been noise issues at this location and issues of intrusive noise that have occurred at the premises under various different management. The proposals submitted by the applicant to resolve the representations have been considered, but they believe that these would be insufficient to satisfy their concerns, and their representation is attached in full at Appendix 7. Of the interested parties, Claire Thomas has made a representation, and Claire Thomas is here present as well, and she may wish to give some more details of her representation, and obviously is free to answer any questions from the panel. But she states that she objects to the licence until around 4 AM. That was the original application, but she still objects to it till 3 AM, as the change in the hours doesn't satisfy her concerns. And she states it will adversely affect her tenants in the building next door. It shares an adjoining wall and the sound comes through very clearly. She states that they've already had this issue investigated when there was a premises called Idlewild at the location. and they had music very late at night, which caused a lot of stress and anxiety for the tenants, and one of them moved out due to the noise. The current tenants all moved in before the Pink Flamingo opened, and so didn't have the opportunity to consider whether they'd be happy with a large amount of noise late at night. She states it would adversely affect their business if the licence is extended, and she objects. As I stated, the proposals by the applicant to reduce the terminal time for licensable activities was passed to Ms Thomas. Her response was, thank you to the vendor for looking at my concerns and making suggestions as how they can be mitigated. I appreciate they're setting up and running a local business in hospitality, and we are keen to remain on good terms. Unfortunately, I do not feel they address the objections I made, and I think the noise would still cause a public disruption. Their representation and comments in full are attached at Appendix 8. One other interested party, Mackenzie Maud, made representations on the ground of prevention of a public nuisance. They're not present here, so I will read out the relevant part of their representation. We would like to make an objection on to the proposed application for extended licence. We are a residential flat adjacent to the venue and have had several issues with temporary licence extensions, music evenings already held there. Therefore feel the permanent licence under the current situation would be unreasonable. They also outline issues that have started to occur and the fact they are the primarily affected property. We are the primary suffering property with regard to noise, and it makes our flat temporarily unlivable. During some evenings, we refrain from using part of our flat as the noise from people and music is too disruptive. As for the evenings with DJs, we have to go to the extent of blocking out the noise with further noise, such as turning the TV up to unreasonable levels and even putting pillows over our heads to sleep. For reference, we can hear the DJ shouting, we can hear the songs clearly as though we're in the next room. We can hear the live music singing clearly too, even when turned down. The biggest and main issue is the bass travelling through the walls. They sympathise with the difficulties running a business in the current climate, but have concerns that the current application is unreasonable and are concerned that the impact would have on them. They further state that they have been accepting of things until now, but don't feel this is a reasonable request, and we would like everyone to find an appropriate situation to live together. And their representation and further comments in full are attached to Appendix 9. The application was correctly advertised at site and within the Mid-Sussex Times. And of course, the hearing only concerns the likely effect of the variation on the licence and objectives, and the application itself can't be used as a method of reviewing the current licence itself. As stated at the start of my introduction, the panel must determine this application in accordance with the Licensing Act 2003, our own Statement of Licensing Policy, and the guidance issued under Section 182, while having regard to the applicant's submissions. The legislation is set out within the report for the panel, and the Licensing Act requires that representations need to address the 4 licensing objectives, which, as the panel are aware, are the prevention of crime and disorder, promotion of public safety, prevention of a public nuisance, and the prevention of harm to children and young persons. And the representation is relevant if it is about the likely effect of the grant of the licence or variation on the promotion of the licensing objectives. The objector must establish that that such a consequence is a likely effect. The guidance issued under Section 182 of the Act is detailed within the report as well. The guidance details public nuisance and states at 2.21 that the Act enables licensing authorities and responsible authorities through representations to consider what constitutes public nuisance and what is appropriate to prevent it in terms of conditions attached to specific licences. It's therefore important that in considering the promotion of this licensing objective, licensing authorities and responsible authorities focus on the effect of the licensable activities at the specific premises on persons living and working, including those carrying on the business, in the area around the premises which may be disproportionate and unreasonable. And it goes on to state that public nuisance will mainly concern, amongst other things, noise nuisance. It goes on to say that when applications have given rise to representations in respect of public nuisance, any appropriate conditions should normally focus on the most sensitive periods. For example, the most sensitive period for people being disturbed by unreasonable loud music is at night and into the early morning, when residents in adjacent properties may be attempting to go to sleep or are sleeping. That's why there's still a need for a licence for performances of live music between 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. In certain circumstances, conditions relating to noise emanating from a premises may also be appropriate to address any disturbance anticipated as customers enter and leave. It details in 9.3 that where a representation concerning a licence and objective is made by a responsible authority about a proposed operating schedule and it's relevant, the licensing authority's discretion will be engaged. And it's also engaged if another person makes a relevant representation. As stated earlier, representation is relevant if it relates to the likely effect of the grant of the licence or variation on the promotion of at least one of the licensing objectives. And for representations to be relevant to variations, they should be confined to the subject matter of the variation. At 9.12, the guidance states that each responsible authority would be an expert in their respective field. And in some cases, it's likely that a particular responsible authority would be the licensing authority's main source of advice in relation to a particular licensing objective. Licensing authorities must therefore consider all relevant representations from responsible authorities carefully, even where the reason for a particular responsible authority's interest or expertise may not be immediately apparent. However, it remains incumbent on all responsible authorities to ensure that their representations can withstand the scrutiny to which they will be subject to at a hearing. And as a matter of practice, licensing authorities should seek to focus the hearing on the steps considered appropriate to promote the particular licensing objective that have given rise to the specific representation and avoid straying into undisputed areas. A responsible authority or other person may choose to rely on their written representation. They may not add further representations to those disclosed to the applicant prior to the hearing, but they may expand on their existing representation and should be allowed sufficient time to do so. And in determining the application with a view to promoting the licensing objectives in the overall interests of the local community, the licensing authority must give appropriate weight to the steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, the representations and supporting information presented by all parties, the guidance issued under Section 182 of the Act, and our own statement of licensing policy. And the guidance does state that licensing authorities are best placed to determine what actions are appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives in their area. All licensing determinations should be considered on a case-by-case basis. They should take into account any representations or objections that have been received from responsible authorities or other persons, and representations made by the applicant or premises user what actions are appropriate. And the authority's determination should be evidence-based, justified as being appropriate for the promotion of the licence objectives and proportionate to what is intended to achieve. The report sets out the relevant parts of the Mid-Sussex District Council Statement of Licensing Policy surrounding licensing hours. And I shall move on to the detailed background papers for the panel. Say Appendix 1 is the original application form. Appendix 2 is the amended proposals, which were submitted by the applicant during the consultation period. You have the full current premises licence at Appendix 3. At Appendix 4, there's the site plan and the photos of the area. The panel will see that it's located within in essence, the nighttime economy of Haywards Heath towards the end of the Broadway, towards its junction with Perrymount Road. There are other venues between Perrymount Road and South Road, which are late night establishments operating till up to 2 o'clock in the morning in respect of Savannah. And the photos give you some context of the size of the premises in relation to the street, and obviously gives you some view down the street as to some of the premises which are opposite, which includes Orange Square and Savannah. Appendix 5, as stated, is the applicant's submission to the panel. And I'm sure that the applicant will go through this document with yourselves, but I would obviously draw particular attention to this document to yourselves. Appendix 6, we have the conditions which were agreed during the consultation between the applicant and the police, which if the panel are minded to grant this application in full or in part, that I would ask that the panel consider adding these conditions to the licence. Obviously, if the panel's decision is not to agree the application in part or in full, those conditions then don't become relevant. Appendix 7 is the representation from the Environment Protection Team. At 8 is representation from Claire Thomas, and at 9 is the representation from Mackenzie Maud, who can't be here today. That is the matter before panel this afternoon. And if there's any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Bryan. I will start with inviting the Environmental Protection Team. I don't know who is here representing them. If they would like to make comments, any questions to Mr. Bryan. Could you introduce your name, please?
I'm Jane Cooper from the Environmental Protection Team. Oliver Benson also here, my colleague in the same team.
Thank you very much. Do you wish to ask any questions of Mr. Bryan?
No, thank you, no.
Okay, thank you very much. I will now invite Mr. Ball, if he has any questions to ask of Mr. Bryan.
No questions at present, thank you.
Okay, and now I will invite my interested party. Is the lady here of the, yes, have you any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, last is my panel.
No questions.
No questions. All right, well, thank you very much. Right, now I will invite the responsible authority Environmental Protection Team. Yes, Mr. Bryan, do you have some questions?
No, Chair. It's just that the next should be the applicant to outline his proposal to yourself. I'm not quite sure what's on your schedule, but it should be the applicant next.
Thank you for correcting me. Somebody did my schedule. Either I can't read it. So the applicant, Mr. Ball, I will ask you to now present your case.
Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Lee Ball. We took over Pink Flamingo in October. We're relatively new to the Broadway. We're looking to sort of increase our business hours financially to make things work, and also to make the place more of a community hub. We're not a nightclub. I don't want to be a nightclub. We're an established bistro, cocktail bar, and we want to work with everyone. You guys Environmental came up. I've tried to chat and liaise with John, with the other people, to try and meet some middle ground, and I want to work with everyone to make it work. So we've put in for the extension for the hours, and all the further details are in the reports. So, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Thank you
very much. We have. So now I will invite Mr. Bryan, if you have any questions for Mr. Ball.
No, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I will invite the Environmental Protection Team. Have you any questions for Mr. Ball?
Not specific questions. I mean, I produced some information that I'd like to tell the panel, which will,
Thank you.
prompt some questions.
Your opportunity will come. Thank you very much. An interested party, have you any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Panel?
No questions from me at this moment.
Okay, so I did have a question, Mr. Ball, because I was not terribly clear about what changes you specifically wanted to make. Because given your initial application and then your amended, I found it a little bit confusing.
Okay, yeah, so originally we were asking for a 4 o'clock extension on the licence for 4 a.m. But coordinate with people, and I wanted to meet some middle ground, so I suggested maybe we take that an hour away from that and shut at 3 o'clock on a Thursday and Saturday, no, sorry, Friday and Saturday
Okay.
evenings.
Thursday
Not
and-
every day, and it certainly wouldn't be every weekend.
So I just want to clarify.
Sorry,
So
yep.
Thursday and Friday, you would want to stop at 3 o'clock, 3
Yep,
a.m.?
3 a.m.
Okay.
Closed, no, sorry, Friday and Saturday, yeah.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
No, Friday and Saturday, not the
Okay.
first days.
I beg your pardon, Friday and
Sorry, yep.
Saturdays to stop at 3 a.m.
Yep.
And so the times then from Sunday, the rest of the week?
Sunday open at 9 a.m. and shut basically on the normal extension time, so there was no extended hours on the Sunday.
Okay. And Monday through to Thursday?
Monday to Thursday, open at 8 a.m. and shut normal times. Last order 7:30, people out by 12.
Midnight?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, 12, midnight. Okay, that helps clarify to a certain extent what
Thank you,
you
yeah.
wish to have changed. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Now, on my format, it was the Environmental Protection Team which was supposed to address the panel. So if you please.
Just 1 second. I think you should What now?
Backwards and forwards that we've gotten confused. So I think to be absolutely precise, if we start on, or my page, I'm on sort of page 21, and we start with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all open at 8 o'clock.
Yep,
So what we're looking at, the times that you would cease operation, say on
Yep.
a Monday, if we could just quickly say, and I'll write it down, on a Monday, what time would you finish?
12 o'clock, close. on a Monday.
Midnight,
Yep,
okay, thank you. And Tuesday,
the same 12 o'clock,
12, and Wednesday,
the same. Yeah, that,
and now Thursday is the variation, is it? No, Thursday the same?
Thursday the same, yeah.
Thursday is the same, 12,
12th, yep,
midnight.
yep.
Now, Friday.
Fridays, we originally were asking basically till 4 a.m. Here it says, in this appendix, it says 3:40. However, coordinating back and forth,
Okay.
trying to reach agreements, we were hoping to maybe finish at 3 instead. That
Okay.
was, I was trying to meet some middle ground as such.
Okay. And Saturday,
The same, 3 o'clock.
3 a.m. And Sunday opening at 10. Are we still Sunday opening at 10 o'clock?
So Sunday open at 10 and then finishing it at midnight, but we never close at midnight.
Sunday
It's always much
to-
earlier on a Sunday.
To midnight,
Yeah,
right. Does that sound pretty good, Ms. Walker? And then New Year's Eve until 3:40 regardless of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. I'm just going through this. Recorded music, have we got different times on the next page, on page 22 I'm looking at?
okay, yeah.
To give me permission just to go through what the summary would
Would you like to do that? Could you? Yeah, would you mind, Mr. Ball, if our legal secretary could actually clarify for sure?
Hi, I'm Alex Walker and I'm the legal advisor to the panel. I just want to be really clear because there's, for the panel, I think they want clarity that we can just make sure that we understand your application.
Thank you, yeah.
So in terms of the variations, this is the understanding of what we have today, is that you want a performance of live music indoors and outdoors. Sunday is 10 till midnight.
Yeah,
Monday to Thursday, 8 until midnight.
yeah,
Friday to Saturday, 8 and now till 2:30.
yeah,
New Year's Eve is 3:40 regardless of day.
yeah,
And that's the same for performance of live music and the performance of recorded music.
same, yeah,
That's the same. Then sale by retail of alcohol, you've said on a Sunday is 10 till 23:40.
okay, yeah,
And Monday to Thursday, you've said 8 until midnight.
yeah.
And Friday and Saturday, 8 until 2:30.
Sorry, can we just go back Monday to Friday? 'Cause the sale of alcohol would be 11:30, not midnight.
It's 11:30
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
applying for.
Because then it gives us half-hour disperse time for people to leave by 12, yeah.
So what is your application for sale by retail of alcohol on a Sunday, 10 until
To 11:30 as well.
till
yeah,
11:30?
Yeah,
And on Friday and Saturday, the sale by retail of alcohol is 8 until 2:30.
yeah, thank you.
And then the opening out, New Year's Eve is 3:30 you've asked for in terms of the sale of retail by alcohol,
Yeah.
yeah. The opening hours of the premises, then the application to change is Monday to Thursday. In your application, it looks like it's 7 until 00:15 is, you've just given a different time, so
Oh, okay, I'm not sure whether that's that.
Because of the breakfast.
Yeah, so the Monday to Friday, it'd be midnight, not 12:15.
that's Monday to Friday, is it, or Monday to Thursday?
Monday to Thursday, sorry, yep,
Till midnight?
yep, thank you.
And then Friday and Saturday, you're applying from 7 until 3 a.m., 7
Yeah.
a.m. till 3 a.m. And then Sunday, the opening hours of the premises, you're applying now, on your application, it said 8 a.m. until 23:59, is that?
It does on the application, but it doesn't have to be 8 a.m. We're not open until 10 a.m. on a Sunday. So it's
Okay.
not a given, but yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ball, for assisting us. Okay? You will have opportunities to ask questions, Mr. Ball, thank you. So we're addressing the committee to the Environmental Protection Officer.
Okay. As we have heard already, Pink Flamingo is located in a mixed residential and commercial area where most bars are closed by midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. There is one bar open later, but this has commercial properties on either side and has nothing above or below it. Now, due to the structure of the building occupied by Pink Flamingo, excessive noise from the bar, including music and noise from customers, is being transmitted to residents who share a party wall. Noise is already an issue here during the operating hours currently permitted on the premises licence. Local residents I've spoken to accept that some disturbance is to be expected if you live in a town close to bars and restaurants, but they do have a reasonable expectation to be able to use their homes to relax in the evenings and to be able to sleep at night. In response to this application to extend the hours of operation, the council carried out monitoring in 2 residential properties in January and then again in February. Intrusive noise from Pink Flamingo was evident in living rooms during the evening and in a bedroom until the early hours of the morning. The lyrics of a song performed by a live artist accompanied by backing track were clearly audible, as were footsteps, the sound of furniture being moved, and just customer noise generally. During a DJ-led event, which was permitted until 3:30 in the morning through a temporary event notice, music was loud enough to stop residents from sleeping, even though they wrapped their head in pillows. And it was the repetitive bass element of the music that was particularly intrusive. Now, I know that generally during these hearings, councillors, they try and find a compromise to allow the operator some flexibility when running the business, also trying to minimise an impact on residents. However, I think you need to be aware of the history of noise complaints at this property. The Environmental Protection Team have received numerous complaints in the past few years and have identified an issue with structure-borne sound here. We have tried to work with previous bar operators at number 65, but even with their full cooperation, we were unable to find a solution that allowed them to provide musical entertainment at a level expected by their customers that didn't cause significant disturbance to residents who shared a party wall. Eventually, the team took formal action against the last operator, and we were considering prosecuting them for non-compliance with an abatement notice that required noise to be controlled to prevent nuisance. It wasn't that the operator didn't want to comply, they did try, but they just couldn't overcome the problem with transmission of noise through the structure of the building. Now, Mr. Ball may say that he'll do things differently and that noise will be controlled. But this is not an issue that can be easily remedied by good management or by installing a noise limiting device. He's also said that he will monitor noise levels, but he won't have access to the flats affected, so he won't be able to judge the impact on the residents. If Mr. Ball wants to open later to provide alcohol and musical entertainment, then in my opinion, he should seek specialist acoustic advice and implement any noise mitigation measures that are recommended. And then the effectiveness of this work should be assessed by the Environmental Protection Team before an application made to vary the licence. So in conclusion, there's already an issue here with noise from music and customers at Pink Flamingo, and extending the hours without ensuring steps are taken to reduce transmission of structure-borne sound, it's likely that this will result in creation of public nuisance for neighbouring residents.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Thank you. Now, I will invite Mr. Bryan if he has any questions.
Thank you, Chair. No questions.
Responsible authority I've addressed to interested party.
No, I don't have any questions.
And Mr. Ball, do you have any questions? Okay. Panel,
No
do
questions
we have
from
any
me.
questions? No, nothing. Okay. So next, I will invite the interested party, Ms. Thomas, if you'd like to address the panel, please.
Thank you. I don't think I have much to add from what I wrote in my statement. I think the tenants that we have, we make it clear that they're living on the Broadway and they're quite accepting of music till 12, you know, that sort of late night noise. I think I started getting complaints for them when it was like the later nights and the earlier mornings, when I had tenants saying it was too loud.
Okay. Thank you, thank you. So, Mr. Bryan, any questions?
No questions.
No? Ms. Cooper, any questions? And Mr. Ball, any questions? No? Panel, have we got any
No
questions?
questions for me.
So, I have a question about, is it, when the music goes on sort of up till midnight, is that acceptable for residents, or is it beyond midnight that becomes so crucial?
I think definitely beyond midnight, it's much harder for them to tolerate it. I think some of the tenants have said they'd struggled with the level of noise earlier, before midnight. I think it was a DJ that they said they'd pop round to ask if it could go a little bit quieter. I'm into Pink Flamingo.
Okay. All right, so to whom we've heard from everybody so far. So,
Can I make another comment at this point?
yes, we invite, I think we invite, first of all, yourselves, we can invite you to address particular questions to Mr. Ball.
Well, really, it was just picking up there on what Mrs. Thomas was saying, that when we take noise complaints, we make judgments from 11 p.m. 11 p.m. is what we consider to be night time. So it was just that question you're asking about, will people accept noise up to midnight? We would judge it from 11 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much. That's quite clear. Mr. Bryan, did you have any questions?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, I think Mr. Ball, do you have any questions?
Can I ask the lady a question?
Yes, I think that's what I'm
Are
addressing.
you not the tenant there as well?
No, I'm the landlord.
Okay, right, okay, sorry. Right, okay, sorry.
Okay. So panel, have I got any questions?
No questions for me.
Now, apparently to my format, it appears as though the license holder, you have an opportunity to sum up if you have any more comments to make. No? Okay. Panel, any questions from our panel? Yes, yes, Mr. Brook.
One thing I'm slightly unclear about, if the extended hours were agreed, it said somewhere that this would only apply to special events. Would that be a condition?
I think you have, Mr. Ball, previously you have had a special events license, haven't you, to put on?
That's correct. We had free over the Christmas period, late license. Yeah, and if this licence is granted till 2, 3, 4, or whatever you decide, or it doesn't get granted, this wouldn't have been an every weekend thing. We're bistro, cocktail lounge. We're not going to be doing nights after nights every weekend. This would be once every month, maybe every 2 months, just varied offence. And the DJ-led offence is probably not an area we're going to be pushing forward. So we're going to make adjustments for that. But just the extended licence would help us financially just have those options. Maybe if someone wants to do a full event hire for a wedding, birthday or something, it gives us that flexibility rather than putting in 12 late temporary events every month as such.
But this does negate any, whatever happens with this application, it does not negate you having the opportunity to apply for temporary event
Of course, yes,
licenses.
100%, yeah.
So that won't negate that. Okay, Mr. Bryan.
Yes, all I would do to advise the panel is that the panel can decide to restrict the licensing hours to a particular number of events if the panel wish to introduce that sort of condition, which I think comes off of Councillor Burgreen's question. It is within the panel's remit to grant the application in part with conditions as to the number of events, or the panel may well deem that the event should be on a 10 by 10 basis, a temporary event notice basis, rather than be actually included within your premises, the premises licence. So that is something which the panel may wish to consider.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Bryan, how many temporary event license for a year can you get?
A premises is allowed 15 temporary event notices, which cannot exceed an aggregate of 21 days, because obviously one temporary event notice can be more than 1 day. So as soon as you reach one of the two limits, you can't have any more. Temporary event notice, however, the only consultees on the temporary event notice are the police and the environmental protection team.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so,
Can I make a point on temporary event
I
notices?
beg your pardon?
Could I make a point on temporary event notices?
Yes, yes.
I mean, we did monitoring during a temporary event notice, which has led to the objection to this application to vary the licence.
Oh, at what date was that you did that?
There were various temporary event notices over Christmas, but the two that we monitored were in January, on January the 30th and the 31st. Those were the events that I was mentioning when I spoke with you.
Okay. And you found that the level of noise was unacceptable
Yes, very
At that-
intrusive.
during a
and
temporary event notice,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you
So
very
if we
much.
had future temporary event notices, it's likely that the environmental protection team would object to those.
Okay, but that would be another case, because we're dealing simply with this license application today. That would be a future occasion. Okay, thank you very much. Have I got any more questions? Okay, otherwise, I think the panel will retire. We won't really retire, we'll just vacate, go to another room and have a discussion. Thank you very much. Okay, first of all, thank you for everybody for attending for this meeting. The subcommittee noted that Mr. Ball had been cooperative in trying to offer compromises to his application to try and mitigate matters. But in the light of the submissions heard, in particular from environmental protection, especially due to the structure of the building, it was not considered these were enough to prevent the public nuisance that would likely result if this application were granted. On the careful balancing of the evidence, the panel has decided to reject the application in its entirety. Can I please ask Ms. Walker if you'll explain a bit more?
You'll receive full written reasons for the panel's decision within 5 working days, and all the parties have a right to appeal within 21 days of receipt of that notice.
Okay. Thank you very much for everybody for attending. This committee finishes at 2:11. Thank you.